I'm all set.
Okay, here we go.
Alright, that's good power. Airspeed's alive.
That's me. That's an astronaut.
80 knots, nose wheel steering. It's off.
This is definitely not my plane, and this is definitely not Chicago. So what am I doing in the desert, flying around with astronauts? I didn't upload last Saturday. There's been a bug going around the house, so everybody was a little down and out, so I wasn't able to throw together a video. It's a special day because it's my birthday. I thought it was an appropriate time to look back on a previous birthday. A birthday took place 2 years ago, to be exact. Everybody has that birthday that they remember, or that birthday gift they remember that they'll always cherish. My birthday 2 years ago was above and beyond the best birthday I've ever had. This is a book by Paul Bowen, one of my all-time favorite photographers, called Air to Air, and it's full of aerial shots that the guy takes from the back of a B-17 and other airplanes. But I check into my hotel. This book is sitting on the bed, and it's signed by Paul Bowen. It says, "Welcome to Mojave. Enjoy your time with my friends at Flight Research. Here's to some great flying ahead." You may have noticed this patch right here, Flight Research patch. Well, I also got it on this awesome flight suit. Let me give you some background on Mojave. Mojave Airport is located 100 miles north of Los Angeles, California, and about 20 miles from Edwards Air Force Base. If you're an aviation history nerd like me, you call Edwards Muroc. Muroc has been the epicenter of the flight test world since World War II. Planes like the SR-71, F-16, F-35, U-2, the Space Shuttle, and many others were test flown here. Edwards is the place where Chuck Yeager made his first supersonic flight, chased by Bob Hoover, and then went to Pancho Barnes' Happy Bottom Riding Club for a steak. On the non-military side, Mojave is just as famous. In 1986, Dick Rutan and Jeannie Yeager flew around the world in a Voyager built by aviation god Burt Rutan at his company called Scaled Composites in Mojave. If Scaled Composites rings a bell, it should. On October 4th, 2004, the anniversary of the launch of Sputnik and my sister's birthday, Burt Rutan and Scaled Composites won the Ansari X Prize by being the first non-government organization to fly to space twice in 2 weeks. If this still doesn't ring a bell, later on, a little company called Virgin teamed with Scaled Composites to form Virgin Galactic, who plans to fly civilians to space for a nominal fee. JT is already signed up. Located among the race teams and the space companies in Mojave is a little place called the National Test Pilot School. For $1 million
$1 million!
in a year of your life, you can become a test pilot. Just don't forget to bring your advanced degree in engineering. A small section of the National Test Pilot School is a place called Flight Research. This is some decent light. The hotel room's all messed up here, but that's one thing I'm really good at, is like getting to a hotel room and just making a mess. I make a huge mess wherever I go. I'm out in LA, just recovering from the last part of this cold, I guess you could say. Wanted to cover a couple of things about this video. The first thing is I've been sick, so it's been tough to try to put a video together. But in trying to make the video about my training with Flight Research out in the Mojave Desert, after the training, I was given 2 DVDs with all the videos of the actual training events in the airplanes and in the cockpits. And it was 2 years ago. I put the DVDs on the shelf, and when I came back just recently to look at the videos and edit them, a lot of the files never made the transfer. So what I do have from the training is very small, and you kind of get the idea of it. But some of the harder points, some of the harder maneuvers didn't make the transfer, but I'm hoping you get the idea. The training that I went through in Mojave with Flight Research was by far some of the best training that I've ever gone through. When you learn to fly an airplane, you learn to fly it in a little tiny box. And there's actually, I say a little tiny box, but you look at some of the diagrams that we use in flying airplanes, and it's literally a little tiny box, and there's all this area around that we're never allowed to go into. The problem is if you're never allowed to go into that box, when it happens by accident or happens by some other force, that's where we disconnect and we don't know how to react. And so the main purpose, if you had the big idea of what flight research and the National Test Pilot School do, is they cause you to fly outside of that box and realize stuff like the airplane's not going to fall apart, and teach you how, if you find yourself flying outside of that box, how to get back into your safe little area. And just to be able to take an airplane and fly it outside of where you would normally fly it really builds a huge confidence. And I remember coming back from the training at Flight Research and feeling that really there was no situation that I could get into in an airplane, given enough altitude and airspeed, that I really couldn't get out of and get out of safely. An upset in an airplane is when you take an airplane and you know, 95% of a pilot's career is spent straight and level flying at some high altitude and really just monitoring the airplane. What can happen is you get into a situation where, let's say you cross paths with another airplane that's much bigger, and you get your aircraft into its wake turbulence. Some of these bigger airplanes can cause wake turbulence. It can literally take a smaller airplane and flip it upside down. And until you've had the opportunity to be upside down or to be outside of that straight and level flight environment, there's no real representative training for that than to actually get in an airplane and be upside down. Simulators are great, amazing teaching tools, but simulators don't actually give you that all the sensations aren't there. So when you get into an airplane and like the Sabreliner that Flight Research has, it was a corporate jet. So when you get into a corporate jet and you're banking it around the sky, it's outside of your comfort zone, but you really quickly realize you fly with a huge margin of safety, and you realize that even in those upset scenarios, the airplane will continue to fly if you know how to react. Get yourself out of the comfort zone because it may save your life someday.
The aircraft, yeah, my friend. Nice. Well, there's no right or wrong answer. You can stop it like you did and go back there, or you could have continued it.
I remember getting a birthday text from my wife when I was in Mojave, asking how my birthday was going. I replied with 2 shuttle commanders, 3 test pilots, and a corporate pilot walk into a bar. That's not a joke. Best birthday ever. Still looking to buy an airplane, and I'm still in that process. So I'll start to document that as it all comes together, as winter breaks and spring comes. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy what you're seeing. I know this video was a little bit on the light side. If you like what you see, or you want to continue viewing these, please subscribe or hit a like. And remember that YouTube changed how they do the whole subscription thing, so you might want to hit the bell as well. And if nothing else, go to Mojave. They have race teams, they have space teams, Edwards Air Force Base. It's such a historic part of the world that I think doesn't get enough play. Until next time, fly safe, and we'll see you around.